seems basic, right? Do some discovery, focus on the other person.
It's a little tiny nuance, but it changes how people receive that.
Motive matters, intentions make a difference. And in the immortal words of Geddy Lee and our 5 Rush fans who have listened in, welcome to Building Your Sales Engine. I'm your host, Mark McGraw. Hi, everybody. Mark McGraw here. Welcome back to Building Your Sales Engine. Today, I'm going to interview Brian Kavicky, the most recent David H. Sandler Award winner here at Sandler, and we'll walk through what that means. And we have a conversation about fundamentally the unselfish salesperson and how we can go about focusing on them as opposed to us, and a great way to go grow your business. If you want the show notes and some of the cheat sheets out of that, please reach out to us at buildingyoursalesengine.com. Look up the episode and you can download that. Also, reach out to us at salesengine@sandler.com if we can be of help to you and your business. Let's dive in with Brian. Welcome back to Building Your Sales Engine. Mark McGraw here. I am here with Mr. Brian Kavicky, the most recent David H. Sandler Award winner. What an absolute honor that you were bestowed. So welcome.
Thanks.
Congratulations.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Yeah, indeed. That is a wonderful thing. For those people that don't know, the David H. Sandler Award is probably been given to 26 people total in the history of the company, and it's a very prestigious, wonderful award, and because your peers are basically saying you are freaking awesome, and you are freaking awesome, and I am your peer. So welcome, glad you're here.
Yep.
So Brian, we're going to talk about, you just got off stage actually. How you feeling?
The adrenaline still is there. I got through it. Over.
Yeah, it's always the best when you walk off a stage. You think about a talk, which you just gave here at the Sandler Client Summit 2025. And although I wasn't in the talk, that's the good news, is we get to unpack your talk yet again.
Yep.
Here on the episode. So what was the title of your talk and what did you focus on?
The title was Defying the Norm, the Power of the Unselfish Salesperson.
Okay.
And the premise is when you take that word power and unselfish, it's not really intuitive to people. Like you have power in being unselfish. Those seem opposite. Like people think if you're unselfish, you're weak, you're giving up, you're putting yourself low. And that's not what unselfishness is. It's just focusing on somebody else besides yourself, or focusing on their needs first as the primary thing. And that's what it was about, and how to execute that.
And how powerful that is.
Yep.
We hear all the time, I know you hear it as a Sandler coach as well, where people talk, managers come to us and says, if we could just get our people to not walk in and present. You know, I mean, it seems basic, right? Do some discovery, focus on the other person. But very often the knee-jerk reaction is to jump in and let me tell you what we do and how we do it. We hear this all the time. Guessing you do too?
Yeah. But even when you're training a new client and you ask, what do you want to get out of this? The number one answer is, I want to have more control. So they're going into a scenario where they're saying, I want to control. And if you were on the other side of that, you would go, well, I don't want to be controlled. So you have all this conflict you're coming in just because that little thing of I want control interferes with a real discussion.
So what's the best mindset for somebody to have if they want to be unselfish and they're going to go into a conversation and they're going to maximize their sales opportunity?
It's that I am protecting the prospect from making a bad decision. Ooh. So if I correct them, if I guide them, if I keep them out of trouble, if I show them the way to make a decision, if I frame decisions in a manner that helps them have clarity to their decision, even if I lose the sale and they end up choosing the best for them, I should walk away going, I did my job. I didn't lose. They got what they needed. That's good.
I always think that's the best mindset.
Yeah.
It really is that even if you don't win for the right reasons, that's why I hate in CRM. Every CRM, it seems like it has, the last stage is deal lost. Mm-hmm. And it's so wrong because sometimes you disqualify it when you're in the stages, but no salesperson wants to feel like they lost a deal and they don't want to put that in the CRM.
But that's just one structural example. I mean, you think of all like closing ratio.
Yeah.
When I say, what's your closing ratio? The number percentage you report is your yes rate, not your no rate. But they're exact inverses of one another. But nobody says, oh, I lose 70% of the time. They go, I win 25% of the time. So everything is set up. All your KPIs, everything you do is win, 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 yes, yes, yes. So when you try to correct that, people look at their structure and they go, well, we can't change the loss reason to another thing. Like it's just all built around that. So you're stuck.
You're stuck. The system is built around let's go in, pitch, present, get in front of as many people as we can. Another one is quotes, so people track the number of quotes and proposals they get out. Well, that's not necessarily a good metric for people to go measure.
No. And in fact, if you know how many quotes you did, that's usually a pretty bad sign because you're counting them, which means you're paying attention to that at all. But it's who should I not quote would be the other thing. Who doesn't need this? Who doesn't want this? Who doesn't this fit for? And I should never quote somebody that isn't actually interested in doing something about it and has collaborated with that and says, that's what I need.
So you're reminding me, I had a client one time that they had a bunch of engineers that were salespeople, and their sellers would do a lot of quotes. That was like a thing, and it took a few $1,000s for every quote and the engineering team to go put it together.
Yep.
Here's what the owner came up with as an idea. They put a fishbowl together. To get the salesperson to get a quote done, they had to put a $100 bill in the fishbowl. And if they won the business, they got to pull out $500. But just having the salesperson have to pay $100 to have a quote done, it dramatically reduced the number of quotes that they generated and increased the winning rate because they started to qualify better, even though it was only $100.
Right.
And he would always fund if the fishbowl was ever empty, he'd fund it. But to that point, when there's a little bit, anyway, you get it.
Yeah.
But
It's even the language we use is, Dave Mattson used the phrase sales ninjas yesterday. When you think sales ninja, you're not thinking like, oh my gosh, they're such a great qualifier or disqualifier. You're not thinking
That's so true.
They're awesome teammate or collaborator, or these people really care about, like, that's not it. Ninja is they know how to maneuver to get a win. So even the language, the structure, all of those things, it's very counterintuitive. And I think that almost all salespeople enter sales sort of by accident, or I found myself here, and they start their career thinking, I don't want to be one of them. And then you walk into that structure, you walk into that pay scale, all of those things, and you go, oh, you know what, I'm being selfish, and this was never my intention.
Yeah. And almost because the expectation is that's my job, is to go in and tell them why they should do business with us.
Yep.
I'm convinced, by the way, we have Shark Tank to blame for this, because as a series, as a show, that's what they do on Shark Tank. They show up in front of the four people and they pitch their product, and that's what they have to do.
Right.
That's the nature of it. But it's almost become to some degree that's what we're supposed to do. Is I'm supposed to come up with a magic message that's going to convince you to want to buy, when that's actually the opposite approach that we need to take as effective sellers. And it sounds like that's the core of your talk.
And you look at how much money people spend on messaging in order to get that right, which is not effective at all. Because if a salesperson uses that messaging, it's not going to it's not going to generate a conversation.
That's right.
It's going to generate the result of a pitch, which is not for me.
That's right.
And you're falling into that bias.
Well, and Brian, to me, at least I've seen, as we've thought about this too, is that if you're a marketer, you can market one to many.
Yes.
And so you have to here's the top 3 reasons why someone would want to buy from us as a marketer, because you can't get feedback from the other person. But as a seller, and by the way, we're usually taught by the marketing department and trained by them from a product point of view. But as the seller, we get the opportunity to unpack what that buyer wants from us, not the top 3 most generic reasons, but the 3 reasons why that person would want to buy.
That is exactly right. And it is not that marketing is bad. It's that salespeople shouldn't necessarily use marketing in that manner. thinking that it's going to work the same. It doesn't.
Did you ever hear the quote from David Sandler, who founded our stuff? Of course, but I remember him saying, almost as a passing line in the audio, the biggest problem with salespeople is that they're too eye-centered. Did you ever hear that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I bet you did. Not surprised.
Yes. And that my attention is on myself, even if I'm technically unselfish. Like a person that might display unselfish behaviors, like I'll do anything for you, I'll take care of you, I'll meet your needs. Even some of those times they're going, I'm focusing on which is I'm doing this so I feel good. Or people give to charity and they say, I give to charity because it makes me feel good, not I'm doing this for them. It's a little tiny nuance, but it changes how people receive that. Because if you have a friend that's, says, I'll drop everything for you and do whatever you need, you do perceive them as weak. You're like, I feel like I can walk all over them. But if somebody is like doing something you need for you, like having a tough conversation with you or correcting you or saying, as a parent, disciplining you for your good, not theirs, you look at them and go, I trust you, I respect you. You did that for me, not you.
And so the motivations, the intentions, it seems like this comes up a lot in our episodes and our series that we do, and that's motive matters, intentions make a difference. So if you really are focused on them, that comes across somehow in a magical way, and more good things come out of the relationship.
Yeah, I heard it this way. People don't judge you for what you do. They judge you for what they believe your intention is.
Yeah. Spot on. So as long as we keep our intentions focused on them and that we're doing it for the right reasons. I loved your quote earlier. You're protecting them.
Mm-hmm.
You're protecting them from making a bad decision. Brian, I had tremendous call reluctance early in my career, and more than once, by the way. But that was one of the things that got me over that is I want to help people. And so one of the things that now, and you're making me realize this right now, is that in order for me to help people, I had to make sure that they knew about us so that they didn't make a bad decision or an uninformed decision. And that was one of the things that helped me deal with call reluctance, of all things.
Yeah, my career in this started with a prayer, which is, Lord, please bring me people that need my help. Help me discern who deserves it. And that changed every sales conversation, every cold call, because I wasn't there to win. I was there to find, I had the assumption of, you're here because you need help. Let me determine if I can give it to you, if it fits, if it makes sense for you, all of those things. So it's this qualifier mindset, not necessarily I got to get you mindset. In my head, they were already there. And let's just make sure there's nothing wrong.
Can you say it again?
I walked it. So Aaron and I, that works with us, we had a conversation about our new associates ramping up. And we couldn't figure out why the newer people had terrible close rates compared to us. I mean, it's the same selling system, the same environment, the same, all the stuff. And Aaron said, he goes, when somebody walks into your office or gets on a call with you, what are you thinking? He goes, I'll tell you what I'm thinking. I wonder how they're going to pay. I'm thinking, I wonder what kind of client they're going to be. And in our head, it was already done. I wasn't attempting to make it done. And that's where the protection is I got to make sure they make a good decision. Now, it was already done. They needed help, but maybe I wasn't the right mechanism for help. Or maybe there was like, oh no, that's a marketing thing to fix, or any of those things. They still need help.
Yeah.
But it was what kind, and is it the right fit?
Yeah.
And that little tiny here's how I think, changed the outcome of success for both of us.
Yeah, that's awesome. And it is about qualifying. It is about making sure that there's the right fit, and that mindset, you're protecting them. And that's great stuff. That is great stuff. Absolutely love it. Any other final words of wisdom? If you were coaching someone for something tactical that they would do to be able to make that shift, let's say even, maybe before they go on a call, or anything along those lines, anything that you would offer somebody?
I think two things tactically. One is understanding where influence actually comes from. Influence does not come from getting people to do something. Influence comes from making sure that they know what the choice is and giving freedom of the choice. And the right choice has to do with what is the truth that they're looking at. So if I'm unselfish, I'm making sure that my prospect understands the truth. They understand their truth. They understand what we do, how we do things, what it costs, all of those things, and then giving them the choice of, is this the right thing for you? And then what most salespeople don't do is say, or not. You have to give a choice. If it's only, is this good for you? Is this what you want to do? And there's no choice, their resistance goes up because they're hearing salesperson wants to say yes. But if you give them a choice and say, you could go either way based on all this, what do you think you should do? They'll have faith that they'll take the right path, because you can't look at facts and go, I'm not going to do this. You're considering the right things.
Yeah, and I love it that you're letting them make choices. And back to the point of control where you started with this, is that you're giving them as much control in this as you're leveraging control on your side,
right,
which makes people feel comfortable, which gets them to open up.
Yeah.
All
so instead of control, I'm leveraging what I know in my skill sets, not to control, but to guide or bring clarity or to protect them.
Yeah. One more little nuance.
Mm-hmm.
One more little nuance. If we go back, one of the things that we kind of looked at a little bit is, actually, I think sometimes there's two decisions that a buyer needs to make. The second one is where we always put in, which is, should you buy me or someone else?
Correct.
There's another one I think that even is upstream, and that is, should I do anything? Should I make any change whatsoever?
Yep.
And I think a lot of times that's a decision that we got to sell the idea that they should change. Now, this isn't true of all sales roles, but we need to sell the idea that they should change, number one, and then two, who should they use to execute on it? Now, a lot of times when you do the first, you become the default solution. But any thoughts around that idea?
So just be careful with how you position that. We're not selling them that they should change. We're asking them, if you look at where you are, should you change or not?
Yeah.
And doing that. And if they don't think they should change, then we're not an option. If they should change, then what is the best? What's the who? What's the how? What is that? But those are two different, very different things. And human beings,
a lot of times salespeople are selling the why you should use me as opposed to why you should make a change in the first place, or at least helping them to discover benefits of making those changes.
Yes, and not changing ends up being the default decision 75% of the time because we have status quo bias as human beings. Not changing is our default. It has to be pretty bad to change.
Yeah, and in the immortal words of Geddy Lee, if you choose not to decide, you still have made a choice.
Correct.
Yeah, and our 5 Rush fans who have listened in, they can appreciate that.
Yeah.
Everybody else is like, yeah, no, I don't get it. So
Yep.
that's it. All right. Awesome, Brian. Always good to be with you. Again, congratulations, David H. Sandler Award winner.
Thank you.
Absolutely awesome. Welcome to the club. I'm there too.
Yep.
I'll squeeze that in. It's an awesome thing to be appreciated by people that you respect, and totally respect you, and so glad and congratulating you and the team for winning that award.
Thanks for having me on this.
Oh, awesome. Thank you.
All right.
Good to be with you. So, hey, I hope you've gotten a ton of value out of this episode. By far, it's our purpose to help people make money and have fun and have a good time. We're here to help improve your life, to help you make it easier to go sell or to manage your sales team, and ultimately to go build your own sales engine. Don't miss an episode. Best way to go do that is to make sure that you jump out to buildingyoursalesengine.com/follow, where you can link up to all of our latest episodes. For more information about this episode, go to buildingyoursalesengine.com, where you can download show notes, transcripts, and other information, including handouts, snapshots of this and other episodes. If you'd like to connect with us to talk about how we can help you build your sales engine, and you are either located in the state of Georgia or are referred to us by one of our clients or affiliated by one of our clients, please reach out to us at buildingyoursalesengine.com, where you can click there to book some time with us. We can find out how we can be of help with one another. If you're not in either of those two circumstances, please reach out to Sandler.com where you can find a Sandler office near you. Be well.